Hello, I'm Claire. I'm a professional writer. I work for the Royal Literary Fund. The Royal Literary Fund are currently working with USDAW to deliver the Write Now project in workplaces across the UK. And we're getting workers in frontline industries like retail, distribution and allied industries to contribute your stories, your thoughts, your articles, your poetry, your experiences of living and working through the pandemic. The general advice when you're recording a film or a video to share like this is to have a blank behind you so that people don't get distracted. I have disregarded it. I have disregarded it with style, I'm hoping. This little still life behind me, that's some apples and plums painted by my friend Alice. And this tree is by my friend Donna. And that's by my daughter, and that one's by my daughter. And that's just a picture of some sheep that I really like because I live in West Yorkshire and I'm surrounded by sheep. I'm telling you all of this because it is, it's nice to show off to people that I have paintings on my wall that I love. We should seize every opportunity to enjoy ourselves in these difficult times, but also because it is kind of relevant to the writing exercise that we're going to do. We're encouraging you to write about your life and your work through COVID. And lots of writers will tell you that one of the things that most vividly brings your writing alive to other people is when you write from your senses, when you write from touch, sound, smell, taste, whatever the other one is. I can never remember. Hearing. Oh no, that's sound. I don't know. Maybe there are only 4 senses. So I'm going to share with you a piece of writing that makes that very clear, I think. And this was a piece of writing that was written by a bunch of people that took part in a USDAW webinar a little while ago. They're from very different parts of the UK. We've got Scotland, we've got Midlands, we've got Wales there, we've got Yorkshire. All I hear is silence. The window rattling in the wind. The sound of the roofers next door having their lunch in their van. Doors closed. My daughter playing with her toys and the dog snoring. The wind outside rustling through the bamboo in next door's garden. The compressors on the fridges in Sainsbury's canteen. In the silence, I can hear my heart beating. I can hear the long steel tongues of my wind chimes talking crazy in the gale. All I can see is my living room wall, the blank white door that leads to the stairs, a birthday card as yet unwritten for someone I can't see, my Edwardian porcelain shoe that says, think of me. All I can see is an empty soup bowl and breadcrumbs from a lunch. The picture on the wall of a non-working clock in the middle of a bridge. The wind bending the trees outside. The branches dancing like 90s ravers. I love that piece. I think it's exquisite. I don't know whether you'd call it a poem or a story or a list, or I don't know whether it matters really, does it? Who cares? It's beautiful. It's beautifully written. And I think, yeah, a really great example of how the senses, writing directly from what we feel through our bodies, brings writing alive. We only know the world through our physical senses. We only know that we're sad because we feel it in our bodies and then our minds make sense of it. So when you're writing, it's a great starting point to start with what you can physically feel. When we're writing about huge things like the pandemic, like life, like love, like loss, it can be really hard to know where to start. Start with the senses. What I'm going to do, I'm very aware as I speak that if you're using your senses, you'll hear loads of traffic going past my house. It's suddenly got really noisy. I have no idea why, and I hope it's not distracting you. And maybe I'm just really clued into it because I'm talking a lot about hearing. What I'm going to invite you to do, and we're going to be doing this over the next 5.5 minutes, because we're going to keep within a 10-minute deadline, is we're going to write from our senses. We're going to write from different points of view, and we're going to write about those points of view from our own bodies, from where we're located in the world. It's kind of clear from that piece that the people who took part in that exercise were writing in different places. Quite a lot of us are working at home. That's pretty challenging. Some of us are working in different work settings like call centres, in Sainsbury's, obviously, in offices. Some are the people that have taken place in the webinars working in distribution. One of the most beautiful submissions that we've had was written from a lorry cab on a break in, I think, Inverness. I'm sure the lorry driver will tell me if I'm wrong. Okay, let's get going. We're going to use free writing. Some of you might be familiar with that. Free writing is kind of as it sounds, very free, no rules. We don't care at this point about punctuation and grammar and what else is there? Spelling. Who cares about punctuation, grammar and spelling? They are no good. If you want to know more about them, sign up for one of our workplace writing skills workshops. We're very happy to teach you about punctuation, grammar and spelling, but at the moment, we don't give a hoot about it. Notice my careful use of language there. Neither do we care about whether it makes sense, whether it's any good, whether it rhymes, whether it's the right tone, la, 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 all of those things that can worry people and stop them from writing. We are putting to one side. We don't care. The only thing that we care about is whether you write. And if you do write, what we want from you is to please, please, please send us what you write. Send it either to your ULR, your rep, or directly to me at shaw_Claire@hotmail.com. Let me take out that there. Oh, you can't. Oh, come on. There. Makes it a bit clearer there. shaw_Claire@hotmail.com. Send it to me if you work in retail, distribution, or any kind of allied industry like call centres, banking, food production, factories. If you have worked in them, if you've recently left, if you've recently started, if you're union, if you're non-union, we want your stories. They'll go in the National Archive, which is hosted by USDAW. Okay. What you're going to write about using free writing, I'm going to give you a series of prompts. And the first prompt, you're going to start with all I can hear. Write that on your page or in the chat window or write it on a Word document. However you write, however you're comfortable writing, write it there. All I can hear. Write me a line about what you can hear. All I can see. Lift your eyes up from the screen or the page or whatever you use. All I can see is... I shouldn't worry about spelling, should I? My daughter's drawing. Keep going. Obviously, for each of these, I'd like to spend a little bit longer if you have time. You might find yourself going off in a completely different direction. Go with it. All I can feel the tightness of my jeans against my leg. How hot I am. How tired. Yep, we're coming to the end of the 10 minutes. it's probably time for me to clock off work. So I'm going to stop this writing exercise for me, but I would like you to carry on. Go through each of the senses. What can you hear? What can you see? What can you feel? What can you taste? What can you smell? Write while you're at work. Use those senses as a way in to telling us about your work practices, your workspace, whether you're working at home, whether you're back in the office, whether you're back in the canteen, wherever you are. We want to hear stories. You might find that it's a list, like the one that we've already looked at. You might find that you write an article. It might get you going on a story. You might only end up with a line or two. It doesn't matter. However you write, whatever you write, if you're willing to share it with us, we'd be really, really, really glad to receive it. I'm going to stop working now because I've already told you how hot and tired I am, and it's time for me to clock off for the day. Thank you so much for joining me, and I really hope that you come back and write with us again. Bye-bye.